This is Electric Universe Geology Earth News. Today we're going to look at the Potomac River. It's on the east coast of the U.S. It runs through the Appalachians, goes through the Shenandoah Valley. On the screen, this is the Potomac that goes east from here through Washington, D.C. George Washington threw a silver dollar across it. Probably not. This is the South Fork and the North. This is the North Branch of the Potomac, and this is the South Branch of the Potomac. They split up right here. I'll zoom out now to give you some perspective. Again, the mountains are the Shenandoah Valley. And compared to the West Coast and the Rockies and the Sierra, these mountains are tiny. But I grew up here. I grew up in Philadelphia. We would drive west through Pennsylvania, and these were giant mountains, tunnels through the mountains. You couldn't get through them. They held up the migration to the west. Daniel Boone had to go south into Tennessee to get through to Kentucky. These were major obstacles. You couldn't get wagons through. The ridges prevented travel. And the ridges are almost always on the east side, as if that's leeward, windwards to the west, as if the winds were coming west to east. Anyway, we'll zoom out a little more, just a little more perspective, and then zoom back in again. So here's Washington, D.C. down here, and there's the rivers up here. So it goes north, and then south, and west and south. Zoom back in again. Now you see, I can't see why these rivers would run through mountains. 2,000 feet of mountain. Most of it is sediment. Geologists think that this area was granitic mountains originally, much like the West, and then it got sloshed. A wave came over it from the Atlantic and deposited sediment above it. I have an article about Pennsylvania rocks that I'll put a link to underneath of this that shows the different distribution of different types of rocks through Pennsylvania. It's metamorphic in Philadelphia. As you go west, you get a little bit of volcanism, which is probably electrical. And then as you go west from there, it's all sediment, as if a giant wave of ocean came by, coating everything with sediment. You get down to Georgia, and then you have granitic mountains that you can actually see the granite. But most of what you see on the East Coast is sediment. Again, there'll be a link. So, now you got this river. Let's zoom in a little more. And it just does the craziest things. It goes through these areas, and then it runs right through ridges. It doesn't go around the ridges. It goes through the ridges, as if the river was there first, draining an area to the west of the Atlantic Ocean towards the Atlantic Ocean. And then these mountains were created above it, and the rivers prevented accumulation. And if there was a slosh, the rivers would have found the path of least resistance and cleaned out whatever was deposited during the slosh of an ocean coming across, and opened up what had been there before as a drainage. So this is not just something in the western U.S., western Americas. This is everywhere. You have rivers running through mountains that don't make any sense because the river was there first. We live on a planet with liquid water. It drains. It does something while these catastrophes are taking place. Thank you. By the way, I'm looking for someone to share my work with. From what I can tell, I'm not eternal. And I've done a lot of work, and I'd like it to continue. So if anybody wants to take this up as their life's purpose, I'd really like to share what I'm doing. It should be someone who's fairly loquacious, so they can go and speak on these issues. This is something I want to continue. So please contact me. You can do it through eugeology.com. Thank you.